Hi guys, welcome to the Citizen channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Please, if you are new to this channel, please push that subscribe button. We do everything City, past and present here on these little vlogs, so I do try and inform and entertain, and there's some links on screen as well for Facebook and Twitter where I do post loads of City stuff. So if you follow a friend me on there, I do check every few days and follow and friend everyone back. And if you do get a chance, please have a check out my film and TV channel as well, which I try and inform and entertain on there, and all the latest films and TV drama here in the UK and from around the world. So if you can check that out, that will be fantastic. Anyway, hope you enjoy today's feature. Right, welcome to the preview shows. We look forward to these games now, fast and furious. They're coming up. Some big games, of course, over the next few weeks for City, and we welcome a quieter game on, and no disrespect to Southampton, but to what's coming up in the future. 3 p.m. kickoff, Saturday, 18th September 2021. Match day 5 of the Premier League. So let's see if we get another 3 points, another win. Pep versus Ralph, of course. We'll be having a look at Southampton, how they're doing, how Ralph's doing in charge. Of course, I'll be trying to predict our starting 11. And now we're back to normal Premier League football. I'll try and predict Southampton's starting 11 as well, based on how they've been doing. The match isn't being shown again here in the UK, so unless you're there at the ETIHAD, get yourself there. Pep will be happy if you get yourself there, but I don't want to talk about that on this particular vlog. So get yourself there if you can, otherwise you won't be able to watch it unless you're naughty. But hey, that's sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty, don't you? Where else is the fun in life unless you're a little bit naughty? There will be a full match replay, of course, available from midnight on City Plus if you want to watch it again, which hopefully we will want to watch it again at some stage. Who's in charge? Well, we've got old Chunky Chops himself, haven't we? And his little bath chair is going to be wheeled out on Saturday. We've got Mr. Jonathan Moss is in charge of the game with his Lionels, Mark Perry and Timothy Wood. And the fourth official is one of my favourites, as you know. Yes, Peter Bonks, of course. Mr. Peter Bonks is the fourth official. And on VAR, the wonderful VAR, we got Martin Atkinson, ably assisted, no doubt, and unably assisted by Mr. Richard West. Yeah, last time out, it was 10th of March, wasn't it? So it wasn't that long ago, was it? 10th of March 2021. A 5-2 win for City, but let's be honest about it, we were slightly flattered by that 5-2 scoreline on the day. I'm not going to say it should, it could have gone either way, but it certainly did flatter us a little bit. Southampton played very, very well. And, if anything, they perhaps could have nicked a draw at least on the night. Of course, we had a couple of goals from KDB and Mahrez. Both got a brace, and then Gundogan scored the other one as well. Overall, at home against Southampton at our various grounds, we played 43, won 21, drawn 12, and lost 10. I think we scored 84 and let 54 in. Please check out my little History Boys feature as we look back at a little game. And there's the programme for it there back in 1979. Well, September 79. I'd only been married a couple of months as well, and I was allowed to go. How great, how wonderful is that? She wasn't too bad at all. She wasn't too bad at all. Stick my ex, I suppose. There you go. Odds to win the match when the fun stops. Stop, please. I don't ever condone gambling, but yes, this year not a great value. 1-7 on. 17-2 the draw, and 22-1 for the Saints to go marching on and come away with the victory. And as I said, please also check out my little odds special. We've got money in the bank for the charity at last after 6 attempts. So let's onwards and upwards now. I might have to change my little tactics on that to make sure we get some money in the old pot for these charities by the end of the season. So at least we're off. We're off to a start anyway. Fantastic. So have a look at that if you get a chance to see Southampton odds show. So how is the Saints, and how in particular is Mr. Hasenhüttl, is that how you pronounce it? I might just call him the Saints manager, or Ralph. How is he doing? Not great, but not a total disaster. They played 4 games. Obviously, they've literally drawn the last 3 after losing the very first. They sit 14th as at the table on the Thursday evening. I think there may be a game Friday evening this week. So They sit 14th. Yeah, he continues to do. He's a good manager. He's a good manager. They lose players, don't they, season after season, and he seems to have added a lot of good young talent this season as well in the close season. That's what you'd expect from Ralph. A very interesting manager, very good. I think a very good manager, a good guy to listen to as well. If you listen to him, I do like listening to Ralph. One of the better ones in the Premier League. So he has made some good signings. They need time to bed in. He's been a bit down. He's been a bit struggling with COVID and various injuries, etc. I mean, on the pitch, obviously, the last couple of games they sort of scraped a draw at Newcastle, although they really did dominate that game. How they found themselves 2-1 behind is pretty much beyond me. But obviously, they did manage to scrape a draw in the very last moments of that game, and they perhaps should have done a little bit better against the sort of off-colour West Ham. I'm discrediting Southampton there. Southampton played okay, but I think they would be a bit unhappy that they only came out of that with a point as well. I think there was overall they perhaps could have edged that one against West Ham. And he's recently changed the formation as well. He's gone sort of a 4-1-4-1, but obviously during his press conference, which I had a listening to, I'm not Pep's, as I'm recording this, Pep doesn't do his, it's a day after I'm doing this, so I can't comment on Pep's press conference, but he was sort of asked about the tactics for this one against City, and he was obviously, as you'd expect, wasn't totally committed on it. Obviously, he was commenting on his change of tactics recently against West Ham, etc. But he didn't sort of build on that. And he was upbeat. He was upbeat about this game. Of course, he watched Wednesday's Leipzig game, and he used to be the Leipzig manager, of course, before he came to Southampton. So he's been ringing them and getting a few little things off them. And he watched the game, of course, and they've had a week to prepare. So that's given him the opportunity to actually plan for City. But obviously, he was very respectful in the press conference, and I'm sure it'd be interesting, as I say, if you can take the best bits of what Leipzig did and forget the worst bits of what Leipzig did. I think you'll have a chance, won't you, against City? On the injury front, yeah, they got a couple of long-term injuries, and Shane Long is just coming back, actually, just back in training, but I think this will be a bit too early for him to actually feature even on the bench against City, but you never know, but he's only gone back into training a couple of days ago. So how will they cope? How will we cope? How will they cope with us? How will they cope with City? Well, we've got this midweek game next week against Wickham, haven't we? So there's absolutely no reason whatsoever why City won't go strong for this one. I think he'll field the strongest team he's got available based on what he's been doing the first 3 or 4 games. Obviously, KDB got plenty of minutes against Leipzig. I expect him to start this one. I absolutely no reason why he wouldn't. He may get rested for Wickham with the Chelsea game after that. But yeah, I totally expect him to start. I don't think Foden will start. I think Foden might start on the bench again, and he'll get hopefully get a few minutes if things are all going well, etc., later in the game. Yes, this has said the Saints were excellent at the ETIHAD back in March, so I don't think Pep has any options really but to go through his best 11. I mean, the problem we've got, obviously, is we've got our centre pairing could be a problem, but we'll talk about that in a minute when we just discuss the City team. So I'll give you what I think the Southampton team will be based on what we've seen so far and any sort of hints he's been given in his press conferences and interviews and stuff. I mean, I'm going to go for Southampton. I'm going for McCarthy, Perro, Salisu, Stevens, Livramento, Diallo instead of Romu, although I wouldn't be surprised if Romu slits in there. Redmond, Ward-Prowse, El Yunusi, Gineppo and Armstrong, although Brolyer's okay, but whether I don't think he's good enough to say. Shane Long's coming back, he won't be there. I think he'll start Armstrong because of his experience, and Brolyer might be sort of used as and when off the bench. A good young lad, so that'd be interesting. Yeah, so that's my Southampton 11. I don't know what you think of that. You want to make a comment or put your Southampton 11? Put it down if you're interested. I've tried to look at what they've been doing and what formations they've been playing when I come up with that. So hopefully I can get 8 or 9 of that right at least. I've had 2 or 3 games where I've got all 11 right, so that's not too bad. The City 11, yeah, obviously, as I said, the problem at the moment is Stones and Laporte, obviously. And if both are either still struggling and they're not trained, which I say they're missing days training, then they're not going to be rushed back, are they? So I think we're going to continue for this Southampton game with the Diaz and Aki. It'll be interesting to see what we go with for the Wickham game next week, won't it? It'll be like maybe a couple of young lads, but hopefully he'll probably give either Laporte or Stones a run out if they're on the way back to fitness anyway next week against Wickham. So here's my team, and then I'll just a couple of comments after it. I'm going to go Edison. I think obviously Walker Shaw is going to come back into this. Diaz and Aki, as I said. Cancelo again. I think Zinchenko will revert back to the bench. He's getting a lot of stick, I think, after Wednesday's game against Leipzig. Very, very unfair, I think. He's getting a lot of stick off the City fans. I mean, he's a funny player. His City fans pick on him, and then he all of a sudden becomes a bit of a hero, and then they start picking on him again. It's very unfortunate, very unfortunate. Anyway, there's no time to... We're doing a preview here, and I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of how we shouldn't really be picking on City players, and Zinchenko in particular. Rodri, KDB, Bernardo, Jesus, Grealish, and I've gone with Sterling, although it wouldn't surprise me with Torres. And I've only gone with Sterling purely because he usually does all right. You'll look at my quirky stats in a minute. He usually does okay against Southampton. Although Pep doesn't usually have that on his mind. But I'll plump for Sterling. I might be wrong. You might go Torres again. But Torres has had a couple of quietish games for me. And I think it may be time for Pep to say, well, you're not just quite doing it, mate. I'll leave you on the bench. But I don't think he'll be resting the likes of Grealish and Bernardo for this one either, because obviously he can do that against Wickham. He can do that against Wickham Wanderers next week. So that's why I'm starting them again, although they've sort of been playing. Certainly Grealish has played every game, hasn't he, so far? So and a lot of people are a bit disgruntled about that as well. But it doesn't say much to disgruntle us City fans, does it? That's for sure. So there you go. And as I said, the centre pairing sort of picks itself. Mahrez again is another key player that just didn't quite do enough last night, and obviously had a bit of a shout at him, didn't he, Pep? So I don't think he'll be figured. I think he'll figure in the Wickham game. I don't think he'll figure in this one tomorrow. I would certainly expect almost 9 changes at least to that team for next week's game against Wickham. For the one I've just mentioned there, I'll just shoot through it again. Edison, Walker, Diaz, Aki, Cancelo, Rodri, KDB, Bernardo, Jesus, Grealish, and Sterling. As I say, a couple of either-ors there, especially with the Sterling element. But I think Rodri's sort of edged in now for the main guy. I think we'll see Ferner for some cup games and coming off the bench, etc. Unfortunately, this season. So as I said, I think there'll be big changes for the Wickham game, but this is Southampton we're talking about. And quickly over to, I've just had some match quirky stats significant to the Southampton game. These are thanks to goal.com. City have won 8 of their last 9 Premier League meetings with Southampton, with the exception being a 1-0 defeat at St Mary's, of course, in July 2020. Southampton have lost 9 of their last 10 visits to the Etihad. They've drawn 1. Saints have only failed to score in one of their last 16 away league games against City, but also haven't kept a clean sheet in any of their last 11. So, that's quite an interesting one. Southampton are winless in their last 6 Premier League games, drawn 3, lost 3, drawing each of the last 3 in a row. The last time Saints had 4 consecutive draws in the top flight was in March 2002. I mean, stats, we don't do draws, City, do we? So, I mean, again, that should probably extend, but you never know. City have faced just 4 shots on target in the Premier League this season, with 3 of those coming in their opening match against Tottenham. So that's the Premier League, obviously, not the Champions League. KDB has been directly involved in more Premier League goals against Southampton than he has any other opponent in the competition, 11 with 4 goals and 7 assists. The Belgian averages a goal or assist every 63 minutes against Saints, so that bodes well if he plays as I think he will. Southampton's James Ward-Prowse has scored in his last 2 away league games against City, doing so in November 2019 and March 2021. The last player to score in 3 consecutive Premier League away games against Man City was Tim Cahill. He's still knocking around, isn't he, somewhere? Doing so between 2008 and 2010. I didn't realise he was that old. I knew he was old, but he must be about 42 now. Raheem Sterling's been directly involved in 11 Premier League goals against Southampton, 7 goals and 4 assists, only registering more against West Ham in the competition, 14 with 8 goals and 6 assists. That's why I'm thinking he may stick him in. Thanks to goal.com for those little things. And Matchday Live, I don't know who's presenting it, but we got Feed the Goal. Feed the Goal, and he's in the studio. He'll be in the studio. So Sean Goulter is the guest, so obviously for an hour before kick-off, half-time, and after the final whistle. If you're not getting down to the ETIHAD, Pep will have a shout at you, but if you're not getting down to the ETIHAD, you can watch that and enjoy Sean Goulter as the studio guest. And please tune in for my little match report at the end of this game. I'm hoping to get out Saturday evening, depending how quickly I can get home from the game. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than other times, and I feel very tired. I usually walk back to the Piccadilly after the game. I don't mess about with the tram. I get the tram there, but I hate the queues after the game, so I usually walk very briskly back. But it knackered me last night, I must admit, when I'm coming back from the Leipzig game. I was absolutely shattered. I'm a bit shattered. I'm off work at the moment as well, but I think I'm more tired now than I am when I'm in work. But yeah, anyway, I'll try and get it out for Saturday night, but if it gets too late, I'll have to leave it till Sunday. If it can get out by 9 p.m. Saturday night, I'll be happy. Otherwise, I'll probably leave it till Sunday. But please keep your eyes out for that. Push that notification button. Get those thumbs up, guys, please, if you're still with me. That'd be fantastic. And as I said, also, don't forget to check out my other two little Southampton-specific features, of course, the Odds Show, which is not just odds, it's just information and general thoughts about stuff as well, about things. So, as I say, listening to that and listen out for my charity bets and keep your fingers crossed for them so we can start, keep this pot going up now with at our first little win for it. That'd be fantastic. And, of course, the History Boys, as I said, please check that out. With that, I say a very happy, I think, Bernard at that match. As I say, it was a honeymoon period, wasn't it, in my marriage back in 1979? Oh, happy days, eh? But yeah, please check out my history feature on the visit of Laurie McMenemy's Southampton, of course, in those days, to Main Road for the. It was an early game of the season then as well. I think it was the 4th or 5th game of the season that season as well. Please check that out. Anyway, let me know any comments, your starting 11 and any other comments you want to make. That's fantastic. Much appreciated. Thanks for watching. Whatever you want to do the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. So we'll meet here again on the Citizen channel. Or perhaps you flit across, have a look at my film and TV channel. I try and inform and entertain on there. Whatever it is, I only ask one thing. Oh, another thing, just before you go, don't forget, get sub to this thing, King of the Kid Packs. It's out now, the brand new issue, please. Get sub to that. That'd be fantastic. It's a great read. I'm about halfway through that one, and I will carry on this evening until my eyes start shutting, which I usually do. I usually have a little read before I go to sleep. So fantastic. Don't give it your support. If you need any information, just let me know. Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.